Hi everyone, this is Mary Catherine from CrochetChiq.com. You can also find us again on Facebook and Blogspot, CrochetChiq.blogspot.com. So anyways, what we're going to do is we got to make sure that we have our yarn, our 2 strands of bulky held as one. Here it is. This one, the homespun, it looks kind of raveled. I put that at the end and make an extra long tail. You can cut it off later. And also we need our size K crochet hook, okay? You don't really want to use one that's too small. You could go like a step bigger, so I don't think it would make a big difference. But if you're gonna do anything much smaller, it's not really gonna it's gonna be really hard. And then your hat won't come out as big, and it's just confusing. So just go spend the $2. Woo! And we have a cool crochet hook. They're all different colors too. So if you're looking to try to find the green one that I have, I mean, every time I go, they're like different colors. It also depends on the brand. Yeah, so this is aluminum. I tend to break the plastic ones. I crochet sometimes way too fast and I get a little too tense and there it goes. So I like the aluminum ones, but whatever your preference is, go for it. So you've either purchased 1 skew of yarn and made a ball so that you can use 2 strands, or you just went ahead and bought 2 skews of yarn. You've got one on one side, one on the other. If you're using the Lion brand one and you've got the icky ends like that, I'm trying to get it real close so you can see how it looks at the bottom. Just kind of go like that. You can cut them off right now or make sure that they're nice and long. So we're going to hold our yarn like this. Got them both together. I'm just pulling it, making sure everything's good. And so what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the yarn around our hand. We've got the tails, the short part, the part that's not connected to the ball, in the front of my hand. You do it this way, that way, so you can kind of see. We've got the part that's connected to the balls in the back of my hand. So then we're going to wrap it around, just like that, and then we're going to cross it over and just forget about the end right now. So we've got a little X at the top of our hand. See, it's just like a little X. It's nothing too complicated. We're going to get our crochet hook. We're going to stick it down underneath the little loop, and we're going to pull up on the part of the yarn that's connected to our skew. Ignore the tail, because if you were to try to do it with the tail, you're going to end up with a very tiny hat. Okay, so what we do is we pull it through, and then we're left, and it's going to keep flopping all over the place. So what we're going to do is what's called a chain, just to kind of, secure it. So you take it off your hand like I just did. Gonna wrap it over the hook, or what's called yarn over. You'll see it written as yo in a lot of patterns, and I always think it's funny because I'm like, yo, what's up? So anyways, and you're just gonna pull it through in a little loop, and voila, you just made a magic circle, which is actually for some reason considered like not even a beginning thing, but it's really simple if you try it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna repeat it and pull it out. So yay, I've got my whole strand of yarn, and if you need to see this more than once or twice, that's what's really cool about YouTube. All you gotta do is click the pause and move your cursor back, and you can watch it as many times as you want. Trust me, about 2 years ago, I could not crochet at all. I could not, I made the most ridiculous looking things, and I don't know, they didn't even look like blankets. They just looked horrible. And what I did was I found the Crochet Geek, or Art of Crochet by Teresa here on YouTube, and I also found Mikey's Mail, which is now called the Crochet Crowd. Everyone's changing their name for some reason, but I think it's because everyone's just getting bigger because crochet is really taking on. Anyways, I digress. I could talk to you for hours on my opinion on crochet, but if we want to make this hat, I should just get back to the story. Anyways, I would watch their videos, and I sometimes would just have to watch them for like an hour before I'd even start the thing. I would just repeat it until I got it, and then one day it just kind of clicked, and now I'm to the point where I'm actually a crochet instructor. Can't really tell you where I work, but it's a national arts and crafts store, and that's what I do. That's my job. I teach people for a living, and I show them how to crochet. So this is kind of like my first time doing a video, so bear with me if it seems a little unclear or if I'm not explaining myself. Please leave a comment, let me know. I will respond as quickly as possible, okay? So anyways, we're going to go over this again, and what we're doing actually is called a magic circle. I love it. There's another way to do it, which is chaining, but you end up with this big hole in the middle of your hat that you either forget to sew up or you have to sew up, and to me it's just an extra step you don't need to do. Just learn how to do it this way to begin with, and it will never seem hard because that's just the way that you learn how to do it. So the beginning of the pattern calls for a magic circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the magic circle. So we've got our yarn. We're ignoring the icky part that looks all unraveled, and we're putting that, which is called the tail, in front of our palm. The part where it's all wrinkly, you know, you have your little palm lines if people want to read and see what the rest of your life's going to be like, you know, that kind of stuff. And you're going to wrap it, and then you're going to cross over so it makes a little X on the top. You can see that. Now the yarn that's behind, that's the yarn right here that's connected to the skew. Okay? You don't want to do it the other way around, which I used to do a couple times, and then you discover that it's you're crocheting with a tail, and you can make maybe 3 stitches and then your hat's done. So cool thing about crochet though is if you do make a mistake, it's fairly easy just to pull it out and start all over again. So let me get my hand back centered on the camera. Like I said, I'm not used to this thing, and I don't really know how to video edit, so bear with me as I'm learning everything. We're going to slip this under the part that we're holding, and this strand that we're going to grab with our hook, that's the part that's connected to the skew. That's the long one. We're just going to pull it in. All right, we've got it pulled in. You know, you want to pull this part, make sure it's tight. Now, the only problem with where we're at right now, we can't stop. All right, we need to make sure the circle is secure. So what you're going to do is you're going to just hold the yarn as you slip out your hand. Ooh, my hand's free. And then we're going to grab the end of the yarn that's connected to the skew or your ball of yarn. You're going to yarn over or wrap it around the hook. And you're just going to pull it through, and wow, you have got a magic circle or an adjustable circle, which you can pull on and make bigger or smaller. It's really cool for circle projects, tubular projects, amigurumi, and hats because you can make it smaller, so as soon as you've got all your stitches in your first round, you're good to go. You don't have to sew anything up, you're just good. So we've got 1 chain, and this pattern we're going to be mainly using half double crochet, which I'm going to show you right now. It sounds kind of complicated. It's written HDC, and it's more words than what it really should be. It's really simple. So we're good. We haven't started the pattern yet. We're going to start the part that says round 1 when you go to the blog that will be linked down below. So we've got we basically chained 1. We have our magic circle. We are good to go. You want to make sure that you crochet in the direction of this tail because we're going to crochet over it so it's hidden. So basically what we're going to do is what's called yarning over. It's written as yo. And I like to just call wrapping yarn over. You'll probably hear me use both because I think in my head wrapping, but now that I'm reading more and more patterns, it actually says, you know, the proper way is called to yarn over. So, like I said, we're going to yarn over, trying to give you like every possible angle so you can see exactly what I'm doing. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to put your hook under the loop, and make sure your hook is facing the piece of yarn back here, because sometimes you don't pay attention to that because you're too busy trying to figure out what the heck you're doing, and it's really hard to grab the yarn if you do that. So just make sure that the hook is facing the yarn you want to grab. It makes it a lot easier. You want the hook to help you. So right now I have 1, 2, and 3 little loops on my hook, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over again, so now it's actually like 4, and all you have to do is pull it through all those loops. And you have your first half double crochet stitch. And basically what we need is 12 of these bad boys, okay? So we've got 1. Let's look at this again. I'm going to do it from this angle. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go under the circle, reach back behind, grab that, and then we're going to pull all the way through. Now that's our second half double crochet, HDC. That's how you're going to see it in the patterns, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over. We're going to go underneath the circle, reach back behind, and grab it, okay? And basically, once we get to 12, that's going to be the complete end of our first round, which is really exciting because there's not that many rounds in this hat because we're using such thick yarn. Now with this hat, I've noticed, because I've taught a couple people how to make it, and the gauge isn't super important, and gauge basically is how big your stitches are supposed to be. Try to be as consistent as possible, but with the bulky yarn, you're not going to see the mistakes quite as much as if you were using fine yarn and some of your stitches were loose or tight. Try your best. Just to try to make it, you know, if you're making them all loose, don't suddenly decide, oh hey, I think it would look nicer if they were tighter halfway through the round, because then it's going to look kind of silly. But like I said, with this yarn, it's so big and thick. This is what it's looking like so far, by the way. You're not going to have to worry, really, about making everything super perfect. So we're going to just do this again. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go under. We're going to grab the yarn. And we're going to pull through the 3 loops on the hook. And then we have 1 loop on the hook, okay? So I'm going to let you guys go and look at this. Watch the video as many times as you need or as little. Maybe you're a crochet superstar. And you can just figure this out way faster than me. But anyways, you want to make sure you have 12. And then you're going to come and see me again. And I'm going to tell you how to slip stitch it together and start your second round.